All right, you guys, today we are meeting with Fania from the STEM Action Center. We're going to be working through an hour of code tutorial with them. We're going to be working with Nick and Kelly from IBL Events. We're also going to be working with a team from Vinyl, Mike and Ian. They will be facilitating our activity today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Harris, and I'm the CEO of a company called Vinyl. We also have with us one of our other great team members, one of our amazing senior software engineers, Mike Zure, who will be helping to facilitate this hour of code with you. Obviously, I'd like to start by thanking Mrs. Hopper for inviting us into your classroom and giving us the opportunity to do this with you as part of Computer Science Education Week. At our company, Vinyl, pretty much every single member of our team uses the knowledge and the skills that they gained in STEM classrooms like yours every single day on the job, and in particular skills around computer science. What we do is, as a company, is we build software products, right? So like web applications, mobile applications, websites, tools, sometimes games, things that help people shop, things that help diagnose diseases. I mean, all sorts of things that you can do using software. And there's a lot that goes into really sort of imagining what those things can be and what you can use software, what problems you can use software to solve, what opportunities are created by what you can do with code. And that goes into coming up with the ideas themselves, that goes into figuring out if they're a good idea from a business perspective, that goes into prototyping and testing things to see what's really possible and what works and what people like, designing beautiful experiences, and then of course, sort of the hard coding tasks and the hard technology tasks having to do with, architecting solutions and writing the actual code, and then sort of managing these pieces of software, on a daily basis for sometimes hundreds, sometimes millions of users all at once, and making sure that can be done in a way that's secure, that's stable, and gives everybody a great experience. And so that's what we do as a company, and those are the skills that our people bring. And like I said, computer science education is really important, not just for those engineers and coders, but it's also important for our designers, our product managers, our business and marketing professionals, even the folks who manage our finances, and people who go out and talk to customers, right? For really every single person who works for us. And so, for you, when you think about your future and the types of jobs that you want to have, the types of things that you want to do in the future, these are skills that you're going to be able to put to work. For us as a company, again, we're really counting on you to do the hard work in class, to work hard in school, to develop these skills needed so that we can hire you someday. And quite frankly, even better, we're hoping that you're going to take these skills and come up with new and exciting solutions and start companies and launch products of your own. And maybe one day you'll hire us. And that would be even a bigger win. And so I'm, like I said, really excited to be here with you today. And then maybe we can have Mike tell you a little bit about himself before we get started with the activity. Mike?
Absolutely, thank you. Hey, everybody. So I'm Mike Zure. I'm a developer with Vinyl, as Ian mentioned. I do everything from mobile development, iOS, Android, making web pages, writing server-side code to help populate those websites. But I'm also an adjunct professor of computer science at Boise State University. There I teach iOS and Android development, as well as 3D game development. So I also run the Idaho Game Developer Meetup as well. So if you guys are interested in game development, you can certainly join that group. And of course, we don't meet these days, but hopefully someday. And hopefully someday also, I hope that some of you will actually take my college classes. So that's me in a nutshell. I'll hand it back over to Mrs. Hooper so she can introduce, I guess, the special guest.
Well, you guys, we have an extra special guest for this activity. We're going to be teaching or helping our governor with an hour of code tutorial. Are you guys excited? Mm-hmm. Yay! Okay. So without further ado, here is Governor Brad Little.
Well, good morning or afternoon, excuse me. All this online virtual stuff gets me confused, but it's great to be here. I just did an official proclamation a little bit ago to declare Computer Science Week, And of course, Hour of Code is a big part of Computer Science Week, as we all know. And I'm delighted to join you, and hope maybe I'll get a better job out of this if I learn how to code than the one I have right now. So with that, thank you, Mrs. Hopper, for inviting me to join you. And I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to participate in this.
Well, I'm going to be the dumbest student you have, I can tell you that. So
We have faith in you, Governor Little. We have faith in you.
we'll see how we do.
All right. So should we get started with the exercise? Mike, you ready to kick that off?
All right, so feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as we go along. I'm gonna kind of run through the introduction to this and see kind of how we get started and some of the cooler things that we're going to talk about today. So if you click on the Play Now button, that'll get you started. And it'll take a second to load up, so I'll give you some time. This is the drag and dash tool, and this is using block coding. The block coding is very useful. You can drag and drop different commands. Some of you might actually be familiar with this type of programming already. If you're not, don't worry, we'll cover it. However, a lot of the newer tools that we are using these days in either game development or other sorts of development, we actually use an interface very similar to this. So if you're familiar with Unreal Engine, which Fortnite's built in, Unity, of course, is a game engine. A lot of the programming interfaces that we use on those game engines actually represent exactly what we have here, with obviously a few more commands than we'll see today. But this is very useful for things such as game development. So we're going to drag in the forward movement into start, and this will give our character a couple of commands. So on start, which is actually a command that we use in game development all the time, it's going to call the forward command. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to click the start button in the lower left hand or right hand corner, and you're going to see our character simply move forward when the game starts. Okay, so he collects a few coins, some treasures, and then he meets the bigger treasure there. And of course, I did that really well, so I got 3 out of stars here. So you guys can follow along. It's pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. All right, so then it gives you another step in order to facilitate us getting to the treasure. Now, when you program artificial intelligence, whether it's for a game or something else, this is essentially what you have to do for the computer. You have to tell the computer under certain circumstances to do this or that based on certain criteria that the program is encountering. So in this case, we're going to click anywhere on the screen to bring up our programming tool. It'll have a little introduction to the new mechanic that we are introducing. In this case, it's fly up, which will allow our dragon character to fly up and reach the next stage. So for you guys who want to unmute and answer, what do you guys think is the first step we have to take? Is it fly up, forward, in order to get over to the treasure? Just shout out your answer.
Maybe the governor knows. Should we ask and
Forward.
see if Governor Little can answer this one?
Forward.
Put him on.
Am
All
I
right,
right.
forward.
Let's try
Okay.
forward. Okay, so are we done with that?
Well, but that won't get us all the way there.
That is true. So what else do we have to do?
Well, after we go forward, we're going to run into that wall, and then we're going to go up.
All right, so we're going to take in the fly up here, drag that in, and let's hit the play button and see what happens. Okay, so our character moves forward. You can see up in the top left-hand corner that the forward command is currently activated, and then it goes up to fly up once it reaches the wall. And so we're not quite there yet. So what else do we have to do?
And then go forward again.
Okay, let's try that one. Go forward again. So this is actually what we do in programming all the time is we write a little bit of code, We test it out, see if it accomplishes what we're trying to have it accomplish. Most of the time it'll fail. Most of my job is failing early and often until we get to, basically the proverbial treasure here, whatever we're trying to accomplish. So there you go. Governor Little got 3 stars on that one. Very good.
When your term's up, we should talk about a potential job at Vinyl.
Yeah, I doubt it.
All right, so the next thing here is we're introducing another mechanic. And again, this is how I learn as a developer. We encounter a new problem in the field where we're stuck and we're saying, okay, well, what I have in my toolbox no longer applies. So then I have to go out and learn something new, learn a new technique, learn a new command, etc. So that's basically what I do all day, is I'm constantly learning new things. So this is a loop. You guys, again, are probably familiar with loops, but we're gonna talk about this a little bit today. So this is pretty simple. It's just saying drag in the repeat block. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna click on that and release it right over the on start. And if for some reason it snaps back, just make sure that you're dragging it in to the placeholder that appears. Okay, so then what we need to do is, if you can see our characters behind this green dragon, the first thing we need to do is fly up because he's already against the wall. So we're gonna fly up, and then you can imagine that the next step would be to fly forward. We're gonna collect that coin, but instead of repeating the same command over and over and over, where the list would be super long, it would be fly up, fly forward, fly up, fly forward, fly up, fly forward. We're gonna make it more dynamic. And so we say in computer science that a good programmer is a lazy programmer. So we don't want to write a whole lot of code. Instead, we want to have the programming language, in this case, the repeat, handle a lot of this for us. So let's go ahead and just follow the directions really quickly. You guys are probably already ahead of me, but let's go ahead and fly up first and fly forward. And so this one, we kind of have to just make sure it's going to drag right on top of that. And once we're ready, we should click. All right, so he flies up, he moves forward, he flies up, he flies forward. And now we're repeating this 3 times. All right, so we're good there. We reached the treasure. Took us 2 minutes and 49 seconds. That was a little slow. Let's see if we can do the next one faster. Okay, so we're gonna click on the screen here to activate this. And now we have to do it in a couple of different, or excuse me, in more steps. Okay, so you can read this if this is new to you and see what that repeat does. The first thing that we're going to do is we're gonna drag in the repeat, because again, we're gonna wanna repeat these commands over and over and over again. In this case, it's going to be 2. So I'm gonna fly up and fly forward just like we did in the previous module, or previous step, I guess. And we're just gonna go ahead and hit the play button and test this out. So he flies up, moves forward. You can see the highlighted green of the current command, reaches the ledge, flies up, moves forward. And there we go, because we only repeated this 2 times. So we need to do that, I believe, 1 more time. We can take a look at the input. So the input was repeat that 2 times, fly up, fly forward. And that only got us to right around here in the middle of my screen. So the output is it reached here. And so we need to change the input in order to affect the output. So the output obviously needs to go up 1 more time. So if we click in the repeat number here, it'll bring up a little menu here. And I'm gonna hit 3 and then hit enter. And that'll change it to 3. And let's see if that works. So programming is a lot of testing. I don't know anybody that I work with or who I've ever worked with or anybody I've ever heard of that can program and get it right the first time. So we're always testing, and mostly we're just always failing. So you have to be really comfortable with failure because it'll happen 9 times out of 10 at least. All right, so we're good there.
How many of you were able to get to the treasure in your browser, kids? Raise your hand if you were able to get the dragon to the treasure.
We know all about testing our code, don't we, you guys?
yeah, you don't get too far in programming without testing.
All right.
Cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'd suggest you guys run through the rest of these on your own, and I'll hand it back over to whoever's going to talk next.
Governor Little, I want to know what the most challenging part of your job is.
Probably failure. It's like coding. We get a chance to fail around here, but if you don't fail, you're not trying. And but really, just having good people, empowering good people to do the right thing. That's occasionally I have to tell my friends no. That's probably less than the fun part of it. But if you can explain to somebody why you tell them no, then life gets easier.
What is the coolest part of your job?
Telling people that are your friends yes. And this year, the pandemic's really thrown a lot of things, a curveball. I would love to be working on education issues, on literacy issues, on some of the challenges, but I've been pretty occupied with dealing with the pandemic.
Oh.
I was trained as an animal scientist, and it's as I work with our public health people, doctors, epidemiologists, I'm glad that I learned some of that technology in my ranching career as an animal scientist, because a lot of the biology, a lot of the chemistry, even though I don't have to get into the complex part of it, but that's why you really need a broad education, is so that you can understand some of those issues. A lot of life is about asking the right questions.
That's so true. Well, thank you, Governor, for joining us. We sure have enjoyed this.
Well, I'm going to take this home with me and work on it all night tonight. So, Mike, you'll be getting my application in the mail tomorrow.
Look forward to it.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mike and Ian, I'd like to know what your favorite part of your job is.
Mike, why don't you go first? What's your favorite part of your job?
That's a good question. I think I was actually talking to a fellow Android developer today, and he literally asked me that same question. He was like, what do you enjoy about the different things? Because he was asking me whether I preferred Android development or what I'm working on now. And I told him it's all about learning. And so again, it's when you encounter a problem or a new technology, or in our case, a client with a problem that they want to solve, whether it's using computer vision, artificial intelligence, machine learning, et cetera, that, you just don't know those things. One, because I've never encountered it before, but also two, these technologies are so new that, you just can't flip a switch and know it. And so I love that part of my job where I'm always constantly learning about new things and really cool things too. Depends on your definition of cool, but for me and friends that I hang out with, those are really cool things that we can talk about. And that carries over to different industries, whether you're making a website or making a game, for example. It's actually, you'll see the same thing. What you guys are learning in class, you'll see in game development, making web pages, doing big data, artificial intelligence, all those types of things is so useful. But yeah, Ian?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to give two answers. The first is that, almost every day when we show up to work, we get to make things that didn't exist the day before, right? And so, when we show up and we talk to people, what we get to do as a company, we talk to people and they come to us with real problems. I'll give you an example. One of our partners is a big research institution, and the problem that they're trying to solve is helping people who have things like early onset Alzheimer's or memory and aging disorders, right? To try to help find a way to diagnose that earlier, so that families that are experiencing this have more time to get interventions in place, right? Or more time to plan for their lives, after these sort of diseases have set in. Well, they come to us and they, these people are neuroscientists, right? Or they're neuropsychologists, or, they come from maybe they're people who were affected by this type of disease. And they say, is there a way for us to use technology, right? To use code to do this better, right? And so what we get to do is we get to start with a really hard problem and something that makes a real big difference in people's lives. And we get to say, okay, based on the skills that we have, based on the things that we know about design, about, writing code, about software, can we take some of the things that you've done and can we create software that helps us to do that? And so, yeah, we get to take something that doesn't exist at all. And every day we get to work on one little bit at a time, one little bit at a time. Helping to solve that problem, make it better. And that's one of the things that we've been excited to work on, right? And all sorts of other different things. That to me, the first thing is we wake up every day and there are big problems, big challenges, and where solutions don't yet exist, right? Or maybe aren't perfect, and we get to make them better. And so that's really, really cool. And you can apply that to anything, whether you're trying to solve things having to do with medicine, or whether you want to make the government work better, or whether you're really into shopping and you want people to buy the perfect pair of pants, or if you want people to have more fun while they're playing games, right? You can apply those skills. The second thing, if I may, is that we get to work with so many just really smart and amazing people. People like Mike and the rest of the folks that I work with every day. I'm really lucky that I show up to work and I'm not, and this is a good thing. I'm not, I'm the CEO of the company, but I don't need to be the one that knows the most about everything, right? I'm not always the smartest person in the room. And that's a really, really cool thing, is because I learn things every single day from the talented people around me, and they push me to be better and to do more. And then of course, I get to interact with folks like you. So that's a really cool part of my job too.
Well, thank you guys. We sure have enjoyed this, and being able to interact with people that work in computer science has been so rewarding for us. We've enjoyed it, and it's nice to see people that are doing this for a job, not just in the classroom. So.
I have a question, Christina, if you would allow me. I would love to know what your students are working on, and what if they like computer science, if they want to go into computer science, or what they want to do with it.
Right now, we are just started a new trimester, and some of the kids were in here last trimester, and they are working on coding their robots. We're racing each other right now as a review activity. So there's a lot of problem solving that's going on. Elijah, do you want to share with us?
I think I would like to code and build stuff, because I like building and coding. I think it's fun and it'll be a good thing to work with.
Nice. Thanks, Elijah.
How about you, Jack?
I'm planning on doing going to medical school to be a doctor. My dad was a doctor, so I plan on being a doctor.
That's awesome. It's a lot of technology that goes into working in a modern hospital and a modern healthcare practice. And actually, more than half of the clients that we work with, of our partners, are doing things having to do with healthcare and medicine. And so we work with a lot of doctors, and there's a good number of doctors who are putting to work a lot of the skills they learn in classrooms like this around computer science too. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually talk to a doctor almost every day for the thing he's trying to build, websites, server side, all sorts of fun stuff. So yep, certainly a possibility.
Thank you guys for facilitating and giving us the opportunity to participate. We're actually getting ready to wrap up our school day, but we sure appreciate you guys taking time out from your schedule to do this with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you
for
so
having
much,
us, guys.
Yeah, we loved it. It was a real pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.